That was Surah Yasin recited by Mashari al-Afasi. Alhamdulillah, it was a great recital as usual. Let's get into the morning inspiration this morning with Sheikh Salamah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters in Islam, respective viewers, welcome to our program, and would like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that opportunity. And I want to ask quickly all my viewers, when was the last time you have a dream? And no one can complain. Everyone got a dream, and some animals even got the dreams. Dreams is a miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is a part of our life. And everyone experiences a dream, but sometimes dreams can irritate us and give us a lot of headache. You dreamed that plague dog was there, snake was there, fire, you were flying, you got this and that. Sisters, in Islam today we'll talk about the dream. Dream, cancel the previous dream. Dreams are three types of dreams. We got something, it's called ru'ya, part of prophecy. We got another one, it's called hulm, which is dream, psychological dream, and we have something it's called adghathu ahlam. So you got three things: dream, ru'ya, proper dream, and we have hulm from shaitan, and we got adghathu ahlam, a bunch of psychological dream which just have the daily problem and comes to us at night. The first one, nubuwat one, part of prophecy. That one here, very few people got it. So you cannot judge your dream, just you wake up in the morning and say, oh, I had a snake on my life, or in my dream, and I'm worried that my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, my man. No, not at all. Before we talk about dream, I have to tell you something. You are not Ibrahim alayhi salam to receive that a proper dream from Allah, and also we are not Yusuf alayhi salam to reply and to interpret your dream. So I want to tell my viewers, you mustn't get worried at all about your dream. If you dream good, you have a good dream, alhamdulillah, talk about it. If you have a bad dream, don't talk about it, nothing is from the other part. Don't worry yourself, don't bother, don't have any problem with it. As I said, dream from nubuwat, very rare, alhamdulillah, good dream, ru'ya salihah. We have hulm, like sexual dream, someone wants something in his daytime and he got it at night, is like that. Adghathu ahlam, they call it psychological dream, which all the harvest and collection of the daily problems, someone is hungry, someone fight with this and that is called a dream. Dream, it doesn't mean that you have make istikhara and you got the dream, because many people they mix between istikhara and the dream. Istikhara is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and dream is a dream. Many kuffar even, okay, the king of Egypt, he got a dream and he gave it to Yusuf alayhi salam and it happened. So it doesn't mean that he was, that prisoner in the jail with Yusuf alayhi salam, he got the dream and it happened. It doesn't mean that you are salih, you got that dream, or that you are bad on that dream. One of the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, her husband saw a dream and it happened. So it's not a serious matter. If you have good dreams, say alhamdulillah. If you have bad dream, don't talk about it and count it from that psychological dream, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a reality, because we cannot judge ourselves because of the dream. We cannot make sharia because of the dream. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a dream to see Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Shukran jazilan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, with every morning comes a new challenge, and every challenge comes a new opportunity to raise up and rise above it. So let's get to the morning raiser this morning with Solly Said.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Solly Said's Karate, Kickboxing and Gym, where we have a multi-discipline center which teaches all different forms of art, martial arts, physical fitness, just general well-being, all kinds of health people's health requirements. We cover all these different areas. Stand up, senseis. I have today Sensei Andy again and Sensei Zinat who will be assisting me. Today's topic and today's program is going to be more designed to talk a little bit about Karate Do. Karate Do means the way of karate. And I'd like to dispel certain myths, or quite a few myths that surround this art of karate, which is very popular in Japan and the East. And actually, karate has become the second most popular sport in the world, and most people don't know this. FIFA, which is the soccer federation, we know has about 200 countries under its wing. Karate has 186 countries under its wing, which makes it the second most popular sport in the world, as far as a participation sport is concerned. And what's important is to understand that karate is not just for physically strong people. Actually, the opposite applies more for karate, because it's really incredible what it does for people in terms of their health. Children, boys and girls can participate in karate. Men and women can participate in karate. I have students that are 70 years old, men and women that actually still do karate at the age of 68, 69, 70. And hopefully, as they go into their 70s, they'll continue doing karate. So it's not an art only for the strong and only for the healthy and only for the athletic type. It's for anybody and everybody. We have a saying, as you saw the procedure in the beginning. We sat down quietly, silence the mind. Says it gave the instruction, mokso. Mokso means to silence the mind, to calm down. And this way, prepare yourself for what's to come. Karate can be a very vigorous form of training, and it needs your focus, your attention every second of the time, because you're learning very, very sharp, very dangerous techniques, and these techniques cannot just be, you can't play around with them. You can't think that these are techniques that you can mess around with. Children, for example, we don't teach them certain techniques that are very dangerous. Karate is made up of many, 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 many dangerous techniques. All the attacks are done to nerve centers, to break joints, to attack the solar plexus, the throat, and so forth. So this art has to be taken seriously, but at the same time, it's a very joyful experience. The health benefits, the confidence that you gain from karate is second to none. Now, once more, the beginning part. We have a lovely saying in karate which says, karate rei di hajimare, rei di awaru, which means karate begins with courtesy and ends with courtesy. So throughout your practice of karate, it's all about courtesy. There's another wonderful samurai saying. Samurais are the warriors of Japan, where we say you can recognize a tiger by its stripes, a crane, flying bird, by its plumage, and a samurai, a warrior, by his courtesy. So courtesy is vital. It's the adab we talk about in Islam. The courtesy is very, very important in karate. Without courtesy, one could actually become a very dangerous, lethal and dangerous person to yourself and to the public. So courtesy is very important in karate. Now, some of the procedure of training in karate is we generally would do the meditation, get our mind ready for the program. Then we warm up, and then we would stretch, and then we'll go on to some of our techniques. Now, for example, the structure of karate is incredibly deep. Okay, it covers every fiber, every muscle of the body. It's one of the finest form of physical culture you can ever get involved in. The coordination required in karate is second to virtually none. No other sport can demands in you the coordination that karate will demand in you, right? But of course, anyone can practice karate because it's a experiential art. You know, we can talk and talk about karate till the cows come home, but we're not going to get anywhere with that. We need to actually experience karate. And given that it's a practical art, I've had the privilege of teaching a man that had no legs on a wheelchair. We've had programs that we taught mentally challenged people, blind people, you know, people that couldn't hear, deaf people. So the program itself, karate can be taught to anybody, because a blind person, by moving and helping them move their hands and their legs in a certain way, showing them how to do the technique, they should be able to do that. A deaf person, by watching you move your hands, there's no need to even talk. Most karate classes, in fact, our karate classes, being that we are a traditional school and an old school system, we do not allow talking in the class. We just give instructions and then the actions take place. Now let's talk a little bit about the background of karate. Karate, as we know it today, actually originated in India. Now this will blow your mind, because you think to yourself, how does India connect with karate? Well, in South India, a place called Kerala is where they practice an art called Kalaripayat. Kalaripayat goes back a few thousand years. Actually, the Buddhist monk, who's generally known as the founder of the martial arts, as we know it today, Kung Fu and then eventually karate, was a man called Bodhidharma. He was known as the warrior monk called Bodhidharma. He traveled across from South India over the Himalayas and went into China, because he heard that the Chinese were very, very developed spiritually in Buddhism. And he wanted to actually see them and work with them. He was a highly ranked, he was a 28th successor to Buddha. And he wanted to meet these Chinese people. And of course, through the trip, going across the very treacherous mountains and valleys and rivers and dams and oceans, to get to China, he had an entourage of people who eventually disappeared. Many of them disappeared. And he had to fight his way against highwaymen, animals, all kinds of attacks that they would have to face. And given that he studied, or probably must have been involved in the village art called Kalaripayat, he could defend himself. And he taught his young entourage of people that were with him how to fight and how to. They also studied the movements of animals. They studied the movements of snakes, different reptiles. And a lot of those movements were brought into the martial arts. Eventually, this art, when Bodhidharma got to China, he found the Chinese to be very deeply spiritual, but they were very physically weak because there was no physical activity involved. And what he did was he introduced to the Chinese monks the form of fighting which eventually became known as the Shaolin fighting arts. And these temples that he went and taught in became known as the Shaolin temples that we know today. And it is from the Shaolin temples that we hear through the history that we are given, that karate eventually was the birth of karate came about. Right. Karate originated. The word karate came from Okinawa, where it was known as te, or ti, or just the hand fighting techniques of Okinawa. Some Okinawan fighters actually traveled to China to learn how to do the Chinese fighting arts, Kung Fu fighting arts. And they came back to Okinawa, where they created this art of karate do, as we know it. And from Okinawa, karate spread into Japan, and from Japan to the Western world and around the world. And as we know today, it is very, very popular as a sport, as a martial art, and hopefully at some time in the future, it's going to be an Olympic sport as well. The karate is made up of basics, kata, and kumite. Kata is the forms of karate, and kumite is the fighting art, a fighting part of karate. We will try to run through some of the basic movements that you at home could practice yourself, and hopefully the interest will develop where you would want to learn more about this noble art of Karate-Do. Thank you.
That was the morning raiser. Now we're going to go to the news with Nafisa Dango.